You are listening to the Just Between Us Women podcast, hosted by Leah Brueggemann and Katherine Johnson.
We are bringing you conversations about topics you might feel strongly about but are too afraid to begin. How we navigate entrepreneurship as a wife and a mom without losing ourselves in either identity. We want to open the conversation on how we continue to grow in our faith while pursuing our passions. How strong communities of women help us to grow personally and ways to foster them. And taboo subjects no one wants to bring up.
Don't need to be a business owner, a wife, or a mom to come join us. All you have to have is a desire for discussions that scratch deeper than the surface.
So today we are going to talk about the importance of dating your spouse. And a lot of people are going to, maybe not a lot of people, but some people might be like, well, you're married now, right? Like all the fun goes away. So now we're just like stuck together and we don't have fun anymore, right? Because you're going to have kids, life is busy. And yeah, even going out to dinner can seem like a chore sometimes, honestly, because you just get really caught up in the busy day-to-day, every schedule. So That's what we're talking about. You still need to be dating your spouse when you're married. It's actually, I would say it definitely more important than, dating pre-marriage.
Yeah, especially if you have kids, because I think I don't think it is easier to continue dating your spouse if you don't have kids yet. Because there's more planning that has to go into it when you have kids. You have to either plan a babysitter or plan around their schedule or something like that. And so like you said, it is so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and, Billy needs help with his homework and Susie needs help with this, and then they don't sleep. And then you realize that you're putting your kids first in your marriage. And that is a really big mistake, I believe. I believe that in your family, your marriage comes first with your spouse, because you are the team that holds it together. And if you aren't there and you guys aren't doing well as a couple, then that's going to reflect in the family. And I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in the kids.
Oh yeah, because they are your world. They're everything, and you love them so much. And they do take a lot of your time for sure. So I agree. It can be really hard, and definitely especially having kids versus married and not having kids, because the first year of our marriage, and a little more, first year and a half, we didn't have any kids. It was just the two of us, and it's way easier. Way easier. You still have we both were still working, but that was it. It was basically kind of the same as when we were dating. We just were living together at the end of the day, versus when we were dating, we weren't, So that, and that was great. It was awesome, but it definitely was much easier. Bring a kid into it. And it's it's a lot more planning and scheduling that goes into it.
There is. And it's so easy to just be like, oh, next week. Oh, next week. And I don't know about you. You have to tell me your thoughts. But I feel like when you aren't dating your spouse, you're not making that priority to do the little things. It's not even like, oh, we're going to go out to a fancy restaurant once a week. That's not what we're talking about. It's not that you feel unloved. Okay, this is probably coming from the women's perspective, but it's almost like you just feel not taken advantage. That's not the word I'm looking for. Taken for granted. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh yeah, my husband's going to be there. He's always there. He always, takes out the garbage. He always, puts, takes Landon in the morning or whatever it is. And you stop saying the little things like, thank you so much for taking out the garbage. Or I noticed this one, and I think it's important, is kissing your spouse before you kiss the kids when you come home. It's so important.
Yeah. That's a bigger thing than you think it is.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah. I don't know. I just when I think about it, it's so easy to come in the house and be like, hi, Landon, how are you? Instead of being like, hi, Seb, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think So when you're dating before you get married, there's so much time and energy and excitement around your dates, right? So like,
yes,
the guy is thinking, usually, not always, but a lot of the times, the majority of your dates, the guy usually plans, right? I think that's pretty universal.
yeah,
So like he's thinking about like all the effort he's going to put into like, oh, where am I going to take her this week? What are we going to do? So he's like getting excited and wrapped up in like the planning of it to make sure it goes super, super well and is exciting. And you are like looking forward to, oh, where is he going to take me if he hasn't told you? Is it a surprise date or is it planned? And then what the heck am I going to wear? And then you go through different outfits and like, how am I going to do my makeup? And there's like all this excitement wrapped up into it, and which is awesome. And then, you have your fun time, and it's like, it's super fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you get married, I'm not saying it's not fun anymore, because it still is, but you are with each other like not 24/7 really, because, work, but you're with each other so much more, and you're doing the normal day-to-day things together that it's not necessarily going to be as exciting leading up to it. So you have to like make it more exciting. Like you have to put effort into making it exciting still.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so true. You lose that like, oh my goodness, he brought me donuts or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I think for us specifically, like we have to plan it, like block it into the calendar. That day is date night. And I'm telling you guys, 99% of the time they're free dates. Like doesn't cost us a single cent. Because it's so important to date your spouse, to show a strong example to your kids. You want to show your girls what they should expect from a man, so dad does those things for mom, and shows that, and same thing with the boys, and like you said, doing the excitement, whether that's like you do your makeup different that day, or you have a different outfit, or you cook a special dinner, like it doesn't matter, but I think putting that effort into the excitement is there.
Yeah. Well, even like, it's fun to even just text each other. Like when you're married, it's not like you text back and forth that much throughout the day, like you see each other all the time. So it's not the same as when you're dating, when you're like not necessarily texting all day, but definitely more, So it's fun, like to be like, hey, I'm looking forward to what we're doing tonight, whatever that is. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight, or hope you have a good day at work. Looking forward to seeing you later. I can't wait till we can just spend time alone together, whatever. Like that's kind of fun to do. Like Brenda and I like to do that. Just like text each other a little something, even if it's like one little text in the day, to be like, you know what? I am looking forward to it, even though we're married and we're hang out all the time. Like, this is setting something special, a special time aside that's different, should be different from just that day in and day out.
Yeah, I agree. And even for us, sometimes like, I'll be working on my computer after Landon's in bed, and Seb will be studying or something. And if it's not stuff that requires very deep brain power, we'll watch a TV show together or something while we do that.
Yeah.
But that's different than if we want to watch a movie on date night, like, phones go away, computers go away, and it's just that extra specialness. But I love that you said that about the texting, because I love it when Seb will ask me out on a date. Like, he'll just be like, hey,
so
do you want to go out with me? And I'm a big believer in like positive reinforcement. So whenever he does that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love when you ask me out on a date.
Yeah. Hey, that's actually, I think that goes into even the conversation of dating your spouse, like treating each other with the same excitement and the same respect that you did when you were dating. Like, affirming that, like, I like this, that you're doing this certain thing is still important, and like very important when you're married. It's not like that goes away, because I think, like, for me anyway, it was super easy to just get like, I don't know, it's almost like you get so used to each other that you're like, oh, they just know this about me now. Like, oh, they know I like it when they do that. Oh, they know I like when this happens, or but we still like to be told that. We still like to be told, like, us women, for example, we like to be told that we're beautiful. It's great.
Yes.
That never gets old, ever. So like for guys, they're going to like it still when we are like, hey, I really appreciate, like you said, when you take out the trash, or I really appreciate when, you know, you text me good morning or whatever it is. Like we all need that positive affirmation. So
yeah. And like you said, you act different when you're dating versus when you're married. And it's even simple things too, like being an engaged listener, I think is really important because
yeah.
it's so easy to be listening to their story and making the grocery list, or also texting somebody back, or also, making dinner or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And I'm working on this, and I will probably work on it till the day I die.
Same here, Leah.
It's definitely, I'll catch myself in the middle, like he's telling me a story, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what is he talking about? Or
Yeah.
what was that person's name? And you just realize that you cannot multitask and give them your attention. And so you have to be like, stop whatever you're doing and listen. Or,
Yeah.
because I would want that same thing, from him. And I bet you my bottom dollar, if we had just met and we were dating, I would not be, writing my grocery list if he was telling me something.
That's a really funny image. Like,
But yeah.
it's so true though. Like that's definitely something that I'm still working on, and I'm sure I will work on to the day I die as well. And like I always feel so bad because Brendan calls me out on it, which is awesome. I'm glad he does, but I'm like, sorry, I know I need to be better about actually paying full attention when you're telling me things, not
I know.
continuing what I'm doing and half listening to you. And it's like I feel really bad, but yeah, that's always something I'm gonna have to work on.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to the same thing. You tend to take those you're closest to for granted sometimes when it comes to
Yeah.
that. And, you don't tell them I love you as often as you should, or, you don't, you know, bring them coffee or, whatever it is like you used to um, when the relationship was newer. And I think by remembering the little things are just, oh, they're so important. Honestly, like big grand gestures are great, but I would much rather the little things throughout the day. And specific to what their love language is, I think is really
Yeah.
important.
Oh, that's another thing we could totally get into in another topic.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just think like I love that you said Brendan calls you out because Seb will do that for me sometimes and I
Yeah.
feel so horrible about
I
it.
know.
But that's how I get better, even though I get like really frustrated with myself, be like,
Right.
ugh, why did you do that again?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
in a loving way. I'm not saying like they're nagging us or anything like that.
No, not all.
It's more so something that we previously agreed on, like,
Yeah.
for me, it's no phones during date night.
Yeah.
Like at
That's
home,
huge.
you can take pictures of whatever if we're out, but no phones on date night. And um, I had something really big going on in my business on date night, and I went and checked my phone. And the next day, Seb was like, I know, like, I care about your business and I want you to be successful at it and everything, but we did agree to no phones on date night. And I was just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I did it again. And you don't even
Yeah.
realize it's just like,
Yeah.
ah. But yeah, like I said, work in progress over here all the time. But
I think, yeah, all of us are for sure. But
yeah.
yeah, it's so important to keep putting effort in those little things and like positively reaffirm when those little things like do happen for
Yeah.
sure. And like life is busy. So like I said, like both of us said, you're going to get caught up in just the day-to-day schedule and life, and it just goes by. And I know for me, like I'm so much happier when I take the time and I'm the one like positively reaffirming. Like it feels great to receive that, but it also feels really great to give that, Like
Yeah.
I notice a huge difference in my attitude when I'm like actually being a nice person to my husband.
Oh gosh, that's just the way you said that is funny. But It's so true. And I think going back to what we said in the very, very beginning, your spouse, like your relationship with your spouse comes first and the kids don't
Yeah.
come first. And,
Yeah.
No matter what's going on, I think it's important that kids like see that and they know that mom and dad come first and that relationship comes first. And they know that you have like, designated date night or whatever it is. I think it's really important to model that because like you said, actions speak louder than words. And for them to see you being a team like that, I mean, especially when you have kids and you're pulled in a million different directions, it's so important to have that time to reconnect and be a team and, come at it with one, like as one entity, attacking problems. It's always you two against the problem, even if you are disagreeing about something. It can't be you against each other. It's you two trying to figure it out. And I think it's so important for the kids to see that you're putting your relationship first, instead of, getting stagnant. And yeah, I just think that it's really important. And I know that it takes effort. I'm not discounting that at all because, I will be coming up on my 3rd-year anniversary, which is not super long at all. But already in 3 years, I can be like, oh no, you're getting lazy about that or whatever, and it definitely takes effort. So I couldn't imagine if I wasn't putting effort in, 10 years down the road.
Right, exactly. That's so funny, actually. Our 3 years coming up too, so I didn't realize that.
Oh, when's your anniversary?
January 13th.
Oh, ours is April 7th.
Aw, yeah, that's so cool. I didn't realize we had been married about the same amount of time.
Neither did I.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so like we've only been married 3 years, but that in the 3 years, like both of us have definitely learned a lot, like it does take work, it takes effort, and it's really important to keep that spark alive even, like, and that takes work because like love is a feeling. I mean, it's action too, of course, but like it's also a feeling, and like to keep that alive and that excitement and that spark alive, it does take work. It takes a lot of energy to put into, and that's super important to keep up because like you said, I mean, you're modeling that for your kids. It's going to make the both of you like a team and come at every decision as a team, every problem as a team. And it's you two, like you said, facing problems together versus coming at it in different angles, or like you two are having problems. I mean, exactly, all marriages are going to have their problems, but it's you two together facing things.
And like you said, like love, like choosing to love that person is a decision, and like feelings are going to come and go. And that's why you need to put effort into loving your spouse, into dating your spouse, into finding the things that you love about them, and you married them because let's be real, you do live with them all the time. So I'm sure there's going to be something random that you'll find that bugs them about you and vice versa. And so, I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, it's just important to take the time for each other because you married each other, and like we do change, of course, people change, but you want to be changing together. You want to be growing together. You don't want to be growing apart.
Yeah, I agree. And that takes effort and time and learning. I feel like, we're learning stuff, from couples older than us, and it's a commitment.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to the Just Between Us Women podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Just Between Us Women podcast, and we absolutely would love to hear from you.
If you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend and be sure to share it to your Instagram story and tag us so we can see.
You can expect episodes every Tuesday.